How y'all doing? I'm the Watchman, and this is the last part of the Noah series, and I'm ending it with this video right here, and this has been on my heart and mind. I started to do it in the last one, entitled Satan Paving the Way for Himself to Appear as Christ, and I'm ending it with these two because this is of the utmost importance, and like I said, it's been upon my heart to speak on these things, and I know some people are gonna take me as crazy. Josh don't know what he talking about, but this video right here is entitled "The Devil in Flesh Amongst Us." The devil in flesh walking amongst us, because many people, he has so many people blinded through years of watching horror movies and TVs and all this spiritualism, that a lot of people, especially from some of the comments I got on my last video, don't believe that the devil is in flesh and walking amongst us. Now, sometimes to get to know your enemy, or to know what your enemy is up to, you have to, first off, God said keep your friends close. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Friends close and enemies closer. Meaning, sometimes you gotta pay attention to them. You gotta listen to them. You gotta watch their movements. You gotta keep them close. Keep a close watchful eye on them. And like I stated before, in 2010, in January, Benjamin Krim, the head of Share International, stated that the Maitreya, who all these other religions have been waiting for, I kid you not, billions of people are waiting for this man to appear. CNN has been playing commercials for the Maitreya. Benjamin Krim, the leader of millions, whose main office, is in the United Nations building, amongst our leaders, sitting amongst things that are running our government, sitting among the United Nations sessions. Oh yes, Share International is located inside the United Nations building. And they, of course, they have other affiliate offices in other places. But what I want to get is, in 2010, he said that the Maitreya was, and he calls him the world teacher, because they believe that Christ was just the Messiah for that time period, and different Messiahs come for different time periods. And like we know, the devil copycats Christ in all things. Christ is the Messiah. They're awaiting the Maitreya. But anyway, he said that, and you can Google this on YouTube. You can Google it. You can YouTube it. Benjamin Krim announcing the Maitreya 2010. But anyway, he stated that the world teacher, the Maitreya, had did something that was in the first time ever in history, and that was he was being interviewed on TV. Being interviewed on TV. See, through the how many of y'all remember them old Damien movies? The devil, he cleverly made these movies and things, because you make a movie in Hollywood and people believe it like it's true. Oh, I saw a movie on that. Even though that's somebody's opinion, that's like me writing a book and somebody taking that book is from the Lord. This really happened because it's in a book. It really happened because it was in a movie. No, and like in this movie Damien, you know, you have the devil being born as some little boy and growing up and causing all this havoc. No, when you read verses like Second Corinthians, 11, 11 and 14 says, 2 Corinthians 11:14 says, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. He's not gonna come as he's been portraying on TV. You know, he's gonna try to imitate Christ in all ways. Now remember, Christ was walking amongst men for 30 years. See, this is an aspect of Jesus, and it's a very important aspect when you really look at it, that God was walking amongst us and people knew it not. That kid you were bullying at school could have been Christ. You see what I'm saying? That That person you was mean to on the bus, or that person that you talked about in your head, could have been Christ. I believe that's why Christ didn't start his ministry for 30 years. He walked amongst men. He walked amongst us, observed us, and the devil's gonna copycat it to a T. He's gonna walk amongst men, observe us. But beloved, we have high-powered elites that are paving the way for him. And like I said, when you got the New Age movement awaiting this, and Benjamin Crumb stating that he has already been interviewed on national TV, but he said the reason why he didn't open up himself to the world and reveal who he was is because he was waiting for more people to respond to him. Beloved, when you're reading prophecy in the Bible, he's basically saying he's just waiting for the morals of society to get a little lower, people to get more confused, more dumbed down, as society is trying to dumb us down, and so he can appear. Like, that's why you have all these catastrophic problems like I talked about before. You have the demons of the world, the demons that are in this world, which are billions, untold number of other fallen angels, who are causing all these catastrophes. Okay, tongue twisted at the moment. That are causing all these natural disaster problems, issues that are going on, people dying everywhere. So he can appear, reveal himself, better yet, so he can reveal himself and become the savior and the so-called Messiah of the new world, and come with all these answers and these healing powers. The devil can put sicknesses. He'll have a demon plague somebody, and then he comes, lifts that demon off, and all of a sudden, oh, that person is healed. Oh, wow, that is Jesus. He's the new Christ, the betrayer. He's going to fool millions. Beloved, it's been upon my heart and spirit. I know a lot of people are going to take me as crazy, but so be it. I'm not in this for a popularity contest or to win your favor. I'm here to warn you. And beloved, he is in flesh, holding offices right now amongst our high-ranking leaders. Beloved, this goes all the way back. This is deep, y'all. Our enemies have been preparing for this for years. You go back, let me tell you about Alice A. Bailey. Google her. Remember, the truth loves investigation. If you doubt me and don't believe what I'm telling you, investigate what I'm telling you first. Google Alice A. Bailey. She lived back in the early 1900s, a well-known prophetess, satanic prophetess. She was called the prophet of the satanic church under Madame Blavatsky and Anne Benet. Not Anne Benet. Anne Bassett, I want to say. But anyway, Alice A. Bailey took a student of Madame Blavatsky who lived in the late 1800s, and then you had Anne Bassett. I might have say her name wrong, but then you had Alice A. Bailey come along, and her and her husband started what is called Lucifer's Publishing. Like I said, she didn't hide it, and she wrote many books. She started Lucifer's Publishing, but I guess the devil told her, psst, no, people are gonna catch on. So after a while, they shortened it to Lucis Trust. Lucis Trust. Lucis Trust. Google it. And guess where their headquarters is located? In the United Nations building, downtown Manhattan. Yes, that's where the headquarters is located. Christopher Hudson, the Forerunner 777, does another great video where he went inside Lucis Trust. They have another headquarters over in Europe, and probably have, stationed all over the place. But inside the United Nations building with our world leaders, if I know, and history knows, Google knows who Alice A. Bailey used to be. She doesn't hide the fact that she was worshiping Lucifer and Satan. Doesn't hide it. And their headquarters to this day sits among our world leaders. They have been paving the way for Satan since way back then. Google through my videos. One of my early videos, I made a video called The Devil's 10 Commandments. These were 10 strategies that Alice A. Bailey wrote. She said she was communicating with a 2,000-year-old Tibetan monk, but we know this was a demon, probably the devil himself. But he gave her 10 strategies, what she called 10 strategies on how to turn our society into a Luciferian society. Now let's put the pieces of the puzzle together, y'all. Now remember, Benjamin Krim said the Maitreya told him that he's waiting to reveal himself for society to appeal to him more, for society to accept him more. Basically, what he is saying, when you take that aspect and you see what Alice A. Bailey was trying to do with her 10 strategies, like this old so-called 2,000-year-old Tibetan monk told her how to turn our society into a Luciferian society, the devil is waiting for the world to become more corrupt. Why do you think our government is pulling away from God in every aspect? What do you think? That's just some rules that Obama and Bush and them feel, and that's their opinion? No, they are following a carefully orchestrated agenda that our government has been put. I used to wonder why certain laws like taking God out of schools come from. Like, where did that come from? Why would they stress to do that so hard? That is the first strategy in Alice A. Bailey's 10 strategy, 10 strategic, 10-step strategic plan. Y'all gotta excuse me, I just got off of work, working a third shift. But anyway, that was Alice Bailey's. That was the first strategy in her 10-step strategic plan to turn our society to a Luciferian society. Her step one was, she says, to take God out of the schools. And she said this back in the 1920s, y'all. She said, take God out of the schools, because then God will become irrelevant to people in their every day-to-day lives. Because if kids grow up and there's no God, and they're not being given God even in school and daily being fed God and praying, then the kids will eventually grow up not praying. They will eventually grow up feeling that God is irrelevant. And that is why they're pushing evolution. Evolution is a religion. Yes, a religion. It's a theory, not even proven, but it's a theory that's being taught to all our children. Why? Because it pushes them away from God. It tells them that some big bang explosion created them. Beloved, this is all a strategic. Let me keep going. Let me name another strategy. She says, make excessive child rights. Now, she said this back in the 1920s, 1930s, and that's why you have, like, they have laws to where if you whoop your children, you might go to jail and things of that nature. Yes, you know why? Because your kids will grow up rebellious. God says you spare the rod, you spoil the child. So you have parents scared to whoop the children, and the children in turn start growing up rebellious because the devil and them demons are in your children's ear too, and they're growing up rebellious. So now you have rebellious teenagers who will be rebellious adults growing up thinking that God is irrelevant in their life. Is that the world we see today? Beloved, it is clearly the world we see today. And these children eventually grow up and turn into adults. Adults with power and money who don't believe in God, who are rebellious, and who are following every aspect of their sinful desires, slowly turning our world into a satanic society. Is not that what we see today? Beloved, loving God and being a Christian is almost considered, not almost, you're considered odd nowadays. I'm being honest and I'm being real with you. That's the truth. A lot of people say I love God, but when they're working around friends at school and things of that nature, they push God to the back burner because it ain't cool. It ain't cool to love and forgive and to not have anger and hate and to not fornicate. These things are hard not to do. I wrestle with these things. I wrestle with these things to break away from the world. But beloved, if you say you love the Lord, then whose side are you on? I know those thoughts when, it's not, you don't want to bring up Jesus, or you don't want to say and do the right thing because people are going to look at you strange. Beloved, the devil is in the flesh amongst us. As Hebrews 13 says, As Hebrews 13 says, be careful when you entertain strangers, for some have entertained angels unawares.